Hey everybody, it's Friday the 19th of September. It's going on 3:30 in the afternoon. I'm obviously here working from home today. Bit of a quiet quitting day. Not a lot of things happening right now. Typically it doesn't happen, not too many things happen in September anyway. But just wanted to give a quick I hope it's quick. I try to stick to the point. I tend to go down rabbit holes, and especially when I'm speaking off the cuff, and one thought that leads to another, and you end up saying more than I end up saying more than I planned. But it's a nice half sunny, half cloudy day today. I wanted to get some sun this morning, but I didn't. I wanted to focus on doing most of my work in the morning, because I had a Lao lesson at 1 o'clock, and I go to sit at the Lao. I wait for the Lao lesson, and then I go, and she had already asked me to cancel because she was going to be traveling. The teacher that I have, I use italki. So it's a teacher I've been using for about 3 or 4 weeks now. She's good. She's better than the first one I had. The first one was good and served a purpose, but I think this was a little better. But she canceled early this morning through the app, and I didn't see it until it was too late. So anyway, we'll have to postpone my Lao lesson. I am being consistent with it, which I'm very happy about. I'm very committed and determined with study anyway. When I decide to do something, I do it, and I do it pretty thoroughly. So I have these Lao lessons every week to get me speaking, to get some engagement, to learn some new words. And then in the evening, I also do my Lao lesson. I listen to recordings, and I repeat sentences, and I try to memorize words for anywhere from a half an hour to an hour. I'm not doing it too heavily because I want to do a little bit at a time right now, and then once I'm back in Lao, it'll just be much more intense because I'll be engrossed. I'll be inundated with Lao everywhere. Nobody around me speaks English except for my wife. So it's going to be pretty much a forced inundation of learning the language. So I'm not as concerned. I just want to stay ahead of the game, so not everything is too fresh for me. So a couple more months of that. So I'm grateful. I'm not happy that we missed the lesson today, but we'll make up for it. Another update is it's this wedding update. I'll show a little video. I finally picked up my suit. It's finally finished after 4 visits. I think it was 4 or 5 after the initial one. So I picked up my suit, and I picked up the 2 sets of beach clothing. I don't know why I did that. It seemed fun at the time when I thought of it, and especially since I'm not that happy with the style. It ended up being it's a little too formal. I wanted something much more casual, but they look nice, and I think it will be nice for pictures at some point with She does like to do that. We're gonna have her family. We're going on a honeymoon after the wedding coming up. Honeymoon, not really a honeymoon. We're going to the beach for a couple days. It'll be a real treat for them, and Dad likes to take pictures. I'm sure she'll have everybody in some special clothing, so we can take some pictures. It will be a big deal for her family, who's two of the kids who have never been to the beach before, never been to Thailand. So that's looking good. Looking forward to that. I'll show you the final product of the suit. The one thing I didn't like about this was the tailors here. Majority of them are Indian descent. They're probably Thai citizens, but they're Indian descent. They tend to wear very, very slim and like thin, or what do they call that? Skinny. Like very skinny, very thin, form-fitting, and I really hate that. I need room to move. And so the reason I had to go so many times was because the first time they did make it too streamlined. It was too streamlined. I can't move. You know, my biggest issues are my arms and my shoulders and my back, and then, you know, my fat ass. So I need room. I want to be able to breathe in it. So that's fine. They cut the suits. So a tailor-made suit, they cut it so that you can take it in, you can take it out eventually. So it can grow with you. It could be pretty much, unless you drastically lose weight or drastically gain weight, the suit can last you a long time. That's the nice thing about a tailored suit. But the shirt, the white shirt, he made it too short. So when I lift up my arm, it kind of comes out on the side. And I told him at the very beginning, I wanted to be able to stay in. I knew that would be a problem. And they cut it too short. And so anyway, the last time I was there, I said, this is too short. I don't want, I'm going to be annoyed to have to keep tucking this in. So they had to make an extra shirt, a longer shirt, because there's no way to add to it. There's no way to add length. And they made a second one, but he kind of convinced me to buy the first one and just add a little bit more money. And he threw in a tie. The only reason I agreed to do it because I think it was their mistake, and I want to believe that it's not intentional. Oh, this looks good. This could be your shirt that you wear out with jeans, and this could be the shirt you wear with the suit. And so they're always trying to convince you need this or you want this. And I did not want two white shirts. I will be so shocked if I ever wear this shirt or suit ever again. I will be shocked. The only thing is I will probably try to wear it at some point to make me feel better about the cost of it. So the cost of the suit was roughly $500, and then you added two beach shirts and beach short. When you throw in the extra white shirt and tie, it came to about $650. So roughly $500 for the suit, and then another $150 for the accessory, the other pieces. But then, you know, before I even have the suit, he's like, oh, do you want another shirt? Do you want another shirt with this color or this color? And I'm like, I've only worn a suit once in the last 15 years. Two times, correction. One was 18 years ago at a very, very special event. And then the other one was 2 years ago at my parents' funeral. So, and I'm going to be retired soon. So what do I need another suit for? You know, what do I need? I live in gym clothes. And I live in gym clothes now. Even the clothes I wear to the office are kind of sporty. You know, they're like tennis shirts and with collar, you know, they're polo shirts and more like golf pants. So I don't even dress up now. And I really hate it, especially in this weather. This weather's just too sticky for me to wear something like that. But anyway, they keep pushing you to do it, and you know, meanwhile, you know, when I'm trying it on, the guy's helping me tie to put the collar on, and he's breathing on me. It smells like he has crap in his mouth. It was really, I wanted to get out of there. Just give me the suit, let me get out of here. It smelled like he was chewing on crap, you know. So I very nice guys though. I'd probably recommend them again. I'd probably go back to them just because you become familiar with them. But I don't think I will ever need something like that again, except to take it in or take it out. Take it, you know. Hopefully I don't gain any weight. Jeez, I really hope I don't gain any weight. So another update on the wedding. We got the invitations. Really look nice. It's a girl at church. She did a really nice job. And now I just need to find envelopes for them. You know, they're the size of a postcard, so now I just need to find envelopes to put them in. I don't know why she didn't get the envelopes with them, but she did. She designed it and then had them printed. So the flowers are next. We'll need to pay a deposit on the flowers. They're going to be about 15,000 baht, I think it is. That's another $400 or $500. But that will happen next month, mid-month, and then mid-month we also go for our studio photos, which was $1,200. Series of studio photos, especially, and then I guess you get a small album with it, and then you get one large photo so you can have displayed at the wedding, and then you pay a little bit more if you want more than one. We'll probably do more than one. We might as well just do it. I'll let her get what she wants. I want her to be happy about this. I've really let go of the money cost of this. I'm freed myself from it. I'm praying that I get freed from the thought of how much money is going into this event. And I know probably anybody listening to this, if anybody listens to it, they're like, wow, that was a cheap wedding. It might be, but it's just nothing. It's just not important for me. It's just, for me, it just seems a little bit, it's not something I value. I only value it because of my wife. It's important to her. I don't need this. I would have been fine with the legal wedding that we had, and maybe just a very small ceremony. Initially, that's what we talked about, just having a very small ceremony. Family, friends, but this is turning out bigger than I expected, and I knew it. I knew she would do it. Especially when she's talking to friends. Oh, we need the flower girl and the bell and the ring bearer, and my sister, who does this for a living, she said, yeah, it's a bit old school. You have a lot more room, but that's in America. This is a much more traditional church. It's the first marriage I understand they're having in 2 years, more than 2 years. So her friends there, they love her. They absolutely love her. So, we waited our whole life to find each other and get married. So that's just, I'm letting it go. I'm okay with it now. And I want it to be a good experience for her. Like I said before, if we would go to a holiday, which we did, and we didn't enjoy it that much, the money's gone, whether we like the experience or not. We went to Bali, and it was not pleasant. We made it pleasant. We have some memories from it, but it was really disappointing. So I don't want to be disappointed about this. So I want to know she's getting what she wants, and I'll probably give in to the cost of the more expensive makeup person for her. I hope she does her own makeup. I don't think she will. I think she wants to feel like a princess. She is my princess. She wants to feel like a princess that day, and if it's a little bit of money to make it really special for her that day, that's what I want. As long as she doesn't come looking like a clown. I really hope they do it tactfully. So we'll be sending out the invitations pretty soon. She's going to go back to Laos for a couple days and then give some invitations to some of her friends who say they might come over. That would be nice, have some Lao culture there. And her mom and sister will be there, and 2 kids. But it would be nice to have some of her friends there. I invited one friend that I knew, previous colleague. He says he's coming. I wasn't going to invite anybody I knew. Really, I don't really have any friends here. I wouldn't have any people really I know outside of work. But this guy left the job, and now we've stayed in touch. And so I liked him. He was a good guy. So moving on. So I'm still in Isaiah. I'm reading Isaiah. I'm in chapters 28, 29, about halfway through. It's the prophets. It's very poetic writing. I can't say. I'm not sure what I'm getting from it. I just have to believe that God's speaking to me through it. I'm reading 2 Corinthians. I'm halfway through 2 Corinthians in chapter 14. Some of it sounds a little legalistic, but it was Paul writing to the Corinthians, and they were losing their path, and he was setting them straight, and it required some very strict disciplines that he was telling them to to stay on the path. And just speaking of, I read something. I'm reading another book. It's about a former Muslim, who was he was being raised to be an imam, and he ended up becoming Christian when he went to college, and convinced. I mean, he's a philosopher. He died a couple years ago. I can't remember his name. I'm really bad with the names. Nabeel. But I'm reading his second book. I read his memoir, or his first book, about how he became a Christian, and I'm reading his second book now. It's called Jesus or Allah, and he's an apologist, so he can debate, and he's a philosopher and very smart guy. And I really enjoy reading it because he can write this stuff in a way that's very easy to grasp. Anyway, he said something. There was something in what he wrote the other day, what I read the other day. God offers mercy to everyone who has sinned, but demands justice for the crime committed or for the sin committed. We stay with God because we love Him, not because He will punish us. People often wonder, why? If I accept Christ as my Savior and I just continue sinning, will I always be saved? And the answer probably is no. You didn't really accept Him if you want to continue sinning. And the analogy he said was, if your mother told you, I'd say this in most cases, if your mother asked you to do something, clean up your room, would you do it because you loved her, or would you do it because you feared? Would you do it because you loved her and because you wanted to please her, or would you do it because you feared punishment? I would say most people would say because I loved her, and that's the same way why people would serve God. If you're doing stuff out of only fear, love isn't really present. And you become just a follower of the law rather than doing it from the heart. And Jesus, that's what He said to the Pharisees and the Sadducees. You guys are operating out of the law, not out of love. You're killing people. You're limiting people to the law rather than serving God out of love, and you miss the whole point. So I thought I would share that. That was an interesting thing. And speaking of, this week has been awful, in news-wise. I don't listen to a lot of news, but I do get grasp of it. Ever since the assassination a week and a half ago, I initially said some initial thoughts. I was angry that someone would do something that they did. There was an assassination and then a murder on a train. Just someone trying to live their day. Someone came up behind her and stabbed her in the neck. And then this assassination. Just because of someone who just goes out and talks to people. He debates ideas. He didn't say anything scathing. He didn't say anything that would merit murder. I mean, you should be able to say anything without meriting murder anyway. I mean, you should be able to say what you want. If you don't like the person, what they say, just don't listen to them. But you don't go out and murder them because he said some hurtful things to me. The guy never advocated for violence on anything, and I just cannot believe the vitriol. And people out there celebrating it. Not only did the guy murder, but people are outwardly celebrating this. What have we become? That you would celebrate someone just because he has different ideas than you. It's unreal. There are professionals who are getting fired, removed from their job from going on and just celebrating it. I just don't understand it. I don't understand what could be in your heart. So what is in your heart that you would that you would celebrate someone being killed just for talking about ideas. And he didn't do it in secret. I mean, he did it in the open and gave out people opportunity to share their ideas and debate. But just what a sad way to show your disagreement. What a sad, pathetic way to show your disagreement. Anyway, I'll move on from that. I don't want to end this on a bad note. It's just disheartening. You know, I really hope this comes to an end. You know, the media spinning tales of motive and who it was, and just a lot of gaslighting. A lot of gaslighting going on. The media is the king of gaslighting, rewriting history, rewriting things to fit an agenda. Anyway, God help us. So anyway, moving on. Just a quick update on finance this week. You know, this is unemployment. So the unemployment 2 weeks ago showed that unemployment was going up in the U.S. And this week was the big CPI data on Wednesday. Inflation is relatively the same. No, that was a week and a half ago. Relatively the same, or slightly down from what it was before. And this basically indicates what the Federal Reserve is going to do. So the Federal Reserve announced this week that they would start rate cuts. So there's monetary easing of interest rates. So I'm no expert. I listen to a lot of it, but it's hard for me to repeat it sometimes. But so the rate and interest rates are going to come down by a quarter of a point, by 0.25%. And this basically sends a message. But the more important news was what is coming. And the chair of the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, says expect more rate cuts, possibly 2 more before the end of the year. And what this does, it makes money cheaper, and so it's cheaper to access. It devalues the dollar. So what you're going to see is a weakening of the U.S. dollar against other currencies is what we're seeing now. And I see this at work. I monitor foreign exchange rates constantly. I mean, we're extremely sensitive to foreign exchange rates, especially the U.S. dollar, because it is our biggest budget. And sometimes we take FX losses, foreign exchange rate losses, that are just enormous because it's millions and millions of dollars. The other currencies are not as sensitive. They're not as drastic moves, but it still impacts the entire thing. So anyway, this is not really good for the dollar, but it is good for business. It is good for the stock market because it allows smaller companies to access money at a cheap. They can get loans for cheaper interest rates. And it's supposed to stimulate the economy. So, which is supposed to bring down unemployment, hopefully, and boost business and boost consumer buying, because we're a society of consumers. That's what we do. So much of what we do, the whole stock market is based on consumerism, and the result of that, in the end, personally, how it affects me is, so what I'm expecting from what I hear also is next year, with the interest rates coming down and inflation not so much, the interest rates, inflation might come back next year, and it might come back really hard because the economy still is doing pretty good. Despite the unemployment, the economy is still doing pretty good. The companies, the big companies that have money, have cash flow, are spending tons and tons of money. So they're just going to keep doing well until they don't do well. And the people that I listen to are much smarter than I am on it, and they expect this cycle to probably last at least another year, a year and a half, maybe 2 years, going into 2027. 2027, we might possibly see some slowdown after all this capex spending on AI and infrastructure and building out the systems to be able to take on more artificial intelligence type investments. So the expectation is there's another at least 1.5, 2 years left until there's probably a slowdown, and then it could boost again until the end of 2030. This really has nothing to do with the president. I mean, he has his opinions, and he can have his try to influence things, but really it's up to the Federal Reserve to do this. I keep checking to see if there's another bird down here. What was the other point I was going to make there? So yeah, how this affects me personally, of course, I'm going to be living in a landlocked country, and very sensitive to inflation, because they don't really produce anything, but fortunately my currency is in a foreign currency, and I'm invested in the stock market, so I'm trying to hedge inflation as best as I can. And the bottom line for me was my portfolio is just taken off again. And one theory says we might have a bit of a pullback or a correction this year yet, and then it's probably going to just be a bull market to the end of the year at least. I'll take it. It definitely will help me with my situation, since I will be retiring on a modest budget and with no further prospects of another job. And speaking of jobs, we're at the end of week 13 here, or end of week 14. I probably won't do a video tomorrow, but we're at the end of week 14. 14 weeks left in the year. I can't believe it. 14 weeks left in the year, and 8 or 9 weeks actually left for me to work. Because December will basically be null and void. I'm all but 2 or 3 days. I will be off. I'm keeping all my holidays for December, so I'm basically done the end of November. And man, the 9 weeks from now, every week I think, oh, one more week. And the sad thing about this is there's two other people that I'm kind of close with in the office, kind of. I mean, we talk, we commiserate a lot, probably more than we should. One of them is leaving this month, being cut, and she is ecstatic. She says she can't believe she's so ecstatic to leave a job. And that just shows how difficult this organization is working for. Just how dysfunctional it is. And she's saying it herself. She's definitely she must be in her 40s. I don't know how old she is. She's got to be at least in her 40s. And many years career, she said, I've never seen anything like this before. This kind of just lack of leadership and disgruntlement, and she's counting the days. She only has like 8 days left. I keep joking with her that I'm jealous, but she's like skipping through the hallways, excited to go. And the other one leaves next month, and she cannot wait to leave. So this is really pathetic, if you ask me. And me, I'm counting the weeks. So one of the things that's hard in it is, I'm so committed to do the best I can till I leave. And I do say that with my colleagues, the other two that are leaving. I mean, they work hard, and they haven't let this slow them down. But it's just sad to see this many people. There's another guy, he's leaving this month. He's excited to leave. He's even just, well, I wouldn't say he's excited because, he has a family, he has a young family. He's losing his job. I think he's angry. He's very angry. But he doesn't think he should have been the one to be cut. And of course, I mean, there's there are a few people in there who are self-serving, more self-serving, more selfish. But he's very upset about being the one cut. But he was really cut because he's a difficult person, and he creates a lot of drama there. And but I feel bad for him. I don't know how easy it will be here for him to find a job. But the problem there is, so part of the problem that I've been seeing in the office is there's a lot of passive aggressiveness. So I need to get a contract signed for moving with the contractors for the movers to send my stuff back to Laos. And I did all the legwork basically because I didn't want to burden the procurement team or anybody else. I did it all myself. And then I got it together, and all he had to do was just kind of do the final touches on it. And because the one person was missing, it was like 4 of the people, that 2 of which I'm very friendly with, they're just making it difficult. Very passive aggressive behavior. Just for me to get something signed, a quotation to get the payment process started, to book us, and to confirm my moving date and everything. I just can't believe it. I mean, it's just, even though people have they're for no reason. Last week, 4 of them were standing around me, and I could tell they were whispering about me and this. And I just, I'm not the type to be quiet. So I hate conflict being brushed under the rug or walking into a room in silence. And I'm like, so what's going on? What's the problem? Oh, this person is not here. They can't. I'm like, she doesn't need to be here to sign this. This is a procurement thing. It's a benefit, and the organization needs to prepare something for it. This is totally within your responsibility. And it was 3 different departments, and they were like, oh, we have to wait for this person to come back. And I'm like, why? It's just like no accountability and no taking on something. And that was the problem with this one guy that's being left. I mean, he was one of the highest paid people, and he just wouldn't take responsibility for anything. He just wouldn't do it. Passing everything off to everybody else, and then coming in after 9 and going home at 2. And I mean, that's why he was let go. I don't know if he's really good at what he does, but anyway, just to get something very simple signed, and I'm like, what's the problem? And this is the kind of stuff I'm just tired of, and I have never seen it to any extent until I have here. I've never seen anything like this before in my life, and this is why I don't know if what they're gonna do. There's a lot more I can say, but I'm gonna wait until I'm gone to say it. The other thing, so part of this, I restarted spending some of my time, my lag time, taking some of my Excel courses. I still plan to keep up with my professional skills when I leave here. Who knows what will happen next year if I do get some consulting or something. I do enjoy Excel. I do enjoy statistics and analysis. So I'm planning to keep up those skills going in throughout the year. I'm not going to do them like heavily like I do now, but I will keep up my skills just in case opportunities do open to earn a little bit of money here and there. And then at some point I'll probably decide just to stop. If it doesn't look like if it looks like I've been out of the workforce too long, it's getting harder and harder to get a job, especially for someone like me. And the other thing I'm looking forward to is this was another week where I just disturbed by this passive aggressive behavior in the office, and I'm not sleeping from it. And this is the stuff that's just like killing my health. I just am fed up with it, and this is the stuff that I just cannot take anymore. I'm ready to leave. Very toxic work office. And it's just not me saying it, it's some of the others saying it, even though they might be contributing to some of the toxicity with the passive aggressive behavior. It's just not possible. It's just not possible to stay in something like this anymore. I think that's all I have for this week. You know, let me see what time it is. Yeah, this is getting long. So I'm gonna end it there. This is Choice at Winding Down Chronicles of an expat going into early retirement. I'm really excited to be at the end of week 14. I'll probably do this editing tomorrow, and yeah, next week starting week 13. It can't come sooner. I'm excited to spend more time with my wife back home, and be in my own home. You know, I hear a lot of YouTubers, some of the people who are retired say a bad day in retirement is better than a bad day at work. And I can't wait to experience that. I can't wait till my day is so free that I can just, you know, like yesterday I went to the hospital for my knee, and I said, you know, part of my quiet quitting, this is a day I have a medical leave and I'm not going to look at work. I saw like 50 messages pop up on my Outlook, on my app, on my phone. I instinctively went to look, and I started scrolling through the emails to see if there's anything anything urgent for me to deal with. Just so, you know, because one day you're not in the office, and it's like you miss a whole month. I mean, it's really crazy how much stuff you can miss, and I hate to be behind. But I found myself scrolling through it at the hospital just to keep up with what's happening. And then I stopped it. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm on a medical leave here. This is a day off. You know, this is the kind of thing that I just want to get rid of. You know, I've been you know, for 8 years here. It's the first time that it was ever this bad, where a job was this bad, where I have almost no weekends, no evenings, no holidays. It's always something, and I could just see things are building up this year. November, December, January are gonna be intense at work. Intense. I can see it. Multiple huge budgets that are going to be due, annual reports, everything, and I won't be here. I feel bad for my team, but I feel good about myself. I won't be here. Anyway, take care, everybody. God bless, and take it slow.